Hey everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Miss G. 50 Shades of Glow. We're seeing a lot of that. Let me adjust that. Hey Facebook. Hey YouTube. How are y'all? Tonight. Today is Wednesday. And can you believe it is the 30th? When did that happen? It's October 30th. What happened? Oh my gosh. It's the end of the month. It's November in like 2 days. Where did literally, because I started this October 1 and I've only taken off 2 days. But I can't believe tomorrow's Halloween. Hey Kaden, the king of Glow Tribe. How are you tonight? Um the time flew. Like it is Halloween. It will be November. I was in Target today. They have the Christmas trees up. Crazy, crazy. But I hope y'all week is gone well. Um, it's going well. It's the middle of the week. They say hump week, and then we're gonna finish off. My days run into each other. But my name is Gloria, Miss G, 50 Shades of Glow, and I am an avid traveler, solo traveler, 50 and over traveler, and I have Glamp Lux Travels and Experiences, and it is an Africa only travel agency where I specialize and curate travel to the continent of Africa, Middle East, and um, brown countries, and but really specifically Africa, and that's why I decided to have the series on Let's Talk About Africa because there's so many myths out there, many perceptions, and people ask me about my travels and have questions. So instead of you know answering the questions over and over, I know other people would like to know also. So I said, you know what, and I didn't know every country. So I said, you know what? I am going to learn about Paul. How are you? Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to the Glow Tribe. And yeah, so many people have their preconceived notions about Africa, the continent, not the country. Okay, because one of their countries, Kenya, Texas can fit in Kenya 3.5 times. And the United States can fit in the Sahara Desert 2.5 times or 4 times, 2.5 times. So that just gives you just a peek on how massive Africa is. But I saw someplace that on the map, when you see all of the continents, Africa is very small. And when they had the commentary on it, they said that that was done purposely. That's why I guess people assume that Africa is a country and not a continent. So I mean, shade, 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 shade. I don't get it. I don't get the shade where the very people that came, dominated, want to control, benefited, got rich off of what Africa has to offer, downplays Africa. But I think they do it because of that. Because what I am running into, Africa, hey, Miss Nazinga, um, Africa is just a big piece of diamond, I swear, almost every African country is sitting on diamond mines. Diamond mines, gold, as I was sharing yesterday, in Kenya, down the street from my place, it is a beach called Golden Beach. And you're like, oh, okay, Golden Beach. It's pretty and sunny. No, it's gold in the sand. It's actual gold in the sand. So Africa has the most resources of any continent in the world. In the world. So it's very fascinating. Our journey, we're on day 30, and we will be visiting all 54 countries, good, bad, indifferent, to see, shameless plug, how many African handbags. I said I'm going to do it. How many African handbags? Shameless plug. This is Anastasia Africa. These handbags made in Kenya. Shameless plug. But the bag was sitting there. I said I had to joke on that. So they just have so many resources. So many resources. It's mind blowing. The resources that, you know, a country's just sitting on. So tonight is this country was so fascinating to me. I never heard of it before. They did change their name like a long, long time ago. Um, it is called Lesotho. And does anyone? Oh, okay. It before I go because I always forget. Sorry, Nazinga. Hey, Miss Shalonda, welcome. Does anybody? I promise, Nazinga. I always forget. Does anybody have any questions from last night's presentation with Kenya Part Two, the Nairobi City Party Scene? Anybody have thought of any questions about Nairobi, the cost of living, the different places to be, who to be, where to do? Does anybody have any questions from last night before I move further with Lesotho? All right. So Lesotho. Does anybody, I'm going, since we've been together, okay? Since we've been together, y'all are my class, y'all are my tribe. Okay, let me see. Hold on. All right. What's the best national park in the area? It's only one national park. If you remember, it's Nairobi National Park. And Nairobi National Park is probably the size of some cities. And it is protected natural habitat for the animals. So you have the national park that you can do safari, okay, for the novice, okay. So what I would suggest when you go to uh, Kenya or Nairobi, and that's the first time you are really experiencing safari or something like that, you go to the national park. The national park is fascinating because the national park is sitting in the middle of a metropolitan city, Nairobi, and it is protected land where you see giraffes and you see gazelles and zebras and um, lions and tigers and antelope, and wildebeest and buffalo, and that's in the city. Is that crazy? That's in the city, but it's protected land. So the reason why I say that is you can go to the next level of safari, and that's where you hear about the Masamara. So the Masamara is really in the middle of nowhere. So you remember when I was sharing with y'all just now, matter of fact, how big the the Sahara Desert is and how many times um, the United States can fit into the Sahara Desert. That's how massive it is. So it's the same when you want to go out to the Masamara. The Masamara is like raw, natural, all protected land, like thousands of miles. To get to the Masamara from Nairobi, okay, that's why I said um, the national park is fine. The national park is fine because you get intense if you want to go to the Masamara, like the Masamara. So the national park is the safari is about 3 hours. If you want to go to the Masamara, you don't spend like a day at the Masamara. You spend days. You live at the Masamara a minimum of 2 days to 1 week, and you are um, in the wild with the animals. Now, the crazy thing is they have gorgeous like resorts there. Marriott, Marriott just built um, this lavish resort in the middle of the Masamara, but it's not a lot of resorts. The resorts may be 10 miles away from each other. Okay, it's like really in the middle of nowhere. I don't know how they went and built all of this because from Nairobi, it is a 5 hour drive through the mountains, through, the roads and highways and byways, and just like never ending. It's a 5 hour drive from Nairobi to get to the Masamara. Okay. It is only like a 45-minute plane ride to get to the Masamara. But, and that's a big but I don't know how adventurous y'all are, but I'd rather take the 5 hour drive because no one's getting me on a 6-seater Cessna for 40 minutes. I don't think so. Not doing it because a strong wind come, it's a wrap. So, and the crazy thing is the drive and the flight is the same price and it's not cheap. To go to the Masamara, like what I mentioned yesterday, if you go to the Nairobi National Park, it'll cost you about $100. $45 to get in to the park, and then $60 with the tour company that's going to take you into the park. So it's about a hundred something dollars, right? Um, to just go to the Masamara is $600 round trip for someone to drive you out there. That's not the trip. That's not staying at the Masamara. Staying at the Masamara can go for as low as about 3,000 a person. Yeah, as low as 3,000 a person. They may advertise other things, but I wouldn't trust it. But with my partners that they send me different trips, it's like 2,600. It's never anything under like 2,000. No. And that may be for 2 days, 3 days. It's very, very, very expensive. Now, with that $2,600, with some of the tour agents that may include the ride from Nairobi to to the Masamara and back, but your driver stays there. So that's why you gotta like also pay for them to be there, whatever. But it's $600 because when I went in April, I was going to stay. if I had continued to work for American Express, because American Express, we were able to stay at hotels for like 2 days for free. So, but the cost was $600 to get out there, and it was just me and the young lady that was going with me. So it was $300 a piece round trip. If we got on the plane, it was $300 each way. So that's the big difference. Going to the Masamara, yes, you are out there with the animals. You wake up. Yeah, that's where it starts, at like the bargain African African owned tour company. If you go with the other tour companies that are owned by Europeans, uh, they start about 5, 6 thousand, and I've seen all the way to $20,000 a person. Yeah, safaris are no joke. So that's why it was so interesting to me that when I approached my former employer and told them that I wanted to, dig more deep into being a representative, they said, "Oh, nobody travels to Africa." Okay. I know we don't have $20,000 to chase down a gorilla. Okay. So somebody paying $20,000, somebody paying $10,000, and it's not like a couple; it be groups of people. Yes, $20,000, and it's not a first class seat. No, this is. Um, I've seen it as high. No, I take that back. For $20,000 a person, because one of my friends, she's retired from a big company. So, she's retired on like seven figures, and she got a offering that, no, it was more than 20,000. It was 100. How much was it? It was like 100 something thousand, but you were there like 3 weeks. You did get first class accommodations. You were taken by, a private jet to the different places in Africa. I think I forgot how many places um, you were able to go after you got there, but it was 100. I think she said it was $120,000 to go. And I'm trying to remember if that was for her and her husband, or if that was like I think that was for her and her husband, and she was considering it. But it was for um the top accommodations. Then they were on a private, so she really was considering it. But yeah, $20,000. It cost $20,000 to gorilla track in Rwanda. Let me see. I stick to my point. Okay. I'm trying to help you all out. Okay. So that's why I said that when you first go, I feel that the national park does it all. But if you're adventurous and you are really out there with when you're in the Masamar, you wake up and you may see, a lion right in front of your room, or a buffalo right in front walking up to your door, or whatever. That's too close for comfort for me, but you know you live out in the wild. So that's the difference. So we're going to jump back on Lesotho, because you know how we run out of time. We run out of time. So Lesotho, let me see if there's any other questions. Miss Courtney, welcome. Yeah, so Lesotho, does anyone, I'm going to do a quiz, a pop quiz. Does anyone know why Lesotho is so unique? Does anyone want to take a jab at that? Does anyone want to take a jab at why Lesotho is very unique? Anyone want to take a jab at it? Okay. I don't see anyone in the chat answering. Okay. So let me see. Okay. So Lesotho, if you look at the map, Lesotho is sitting inside South Africa. It's on the southern tip of South Africa. It's near Durban. But guess what? It's not part of South Africa. It's its own country. It's its own sovereign country. But it's sitting in Africa. I mean, in South Africa, but it's not part of South Africa. So, from what my research was, that, with some drama with the British and, you know, who's going to basically control the Africans or not. And they did not connect, and they were, given territories to the French, and, it was drama like that. And Lesotho, you know, ended up never being connected to South Africa. Now, in its so Lesotho is its own country, but it's sitting inside South Africa, but it's not a South African country. Okay. Um, it is a kingdom. And I love when I hear that, some African countries are kingdoms, and they have kings. Now, the king that they have, he's basically just a figure, like, just a head figure. He has no power really. He inherited the position from his father. Okay. And because I think his father was killed in a car accident. And so he's been king since, what was it, 70 something or 90 something? Was it 90? Yeah, I think it was 90 something. I think it's 90 something. His dad um, was king from they received Lesotho received their independence in 1966. Um, and then they had a ruler. It didn't seem like it was too much like drama after they received their independence. Some African countries, even though they received their independence, they were infighting a lot. It was still a lot of infighting and mess and coups. There were coups, but not to the point where, um, we hear with other countries. Um, the Lesotho, the nickname for Lesotho is called the Kingdom in the Sky, because the elevation where Lesotho is, it's like very high up or whatsoever. I don't know about elevations, but it's in a very high elevation. So they nickname it as the Kingdom in the Sky. And what is so another thing that's very cool about this country that is really intriguing me, and I'm definitely putting it on my bucket list, and it gets one, two, three. I'm trifling. One, two, three. It's my head. One, two, three, four, five handbags. Okay, African handbags. Um, because it's getting that for me, and it's not even near water, but it has a big water element that is breathtaking. The country is breathtaking, beautiful, scenic, drop dead in your mouth. um and you would think, because you really, has anyone heard of Lesotho before tonight? Has anybody put a yes in the chat if anyone's heard of Lesotho before tonight? So Lesotho you would think, because I before. Oh, cool. Do you know? Could you tell us what you knew about Lesotho, Kaden, and how you knew about Lesotho? So why he's putting that in the chat? Do you want to come on? Do you want to come on the screen? You want to come on camera, Kaden, and talk about Lesotho? So, yes. So before, I really don't know anything until I start to research it. Like I go in with an open mind, not really a preconceived notion, but kind of. If I've never heard of it, I'm expecting the country to be, very underdeveloped and whatever. But Lesotho, ironically, um, not that is highly developed, but how the people move are not like some of the countries that Equatorial Guinea or the other places, Burundi, that we talked about. They have a great nightlife. They have great food. The food is not that expensive. If you like mountainous scenery, green mountains and valleys and streams. They have high, beautiful mountains, prettier than Colorado. Then they have beautiful, green, lush valleys. Then their streams, their streams um, are crystal clear water. It's drop dead. And when I send y'all gifts tonight, you will see it. But it's a breathtaking spectacle to see. And they have a couple of sites that you definitely have to see. And one is talking, let's go back to talking about the water. I laid out, one second. I'm laid out in my bed doing homework, landlocked by South Africa, and it sits entirely 1,000 meters in elevation. Yep. And just some different stuff I learned. Yep. He's on it. You see the young minds, people, the young minds. But anywho, absolutely. So they have some wonders of the world there. I really want to go, but it's kind of hard to get there. That's the only thing, and I'm going to freak you out with different ways to get there. The capital is called Masaru, Masaru, something like that. Masuru. Okay, that's the capital, right? So, great attractions is the Malisona Malisoni Sonii Falls. I know I'm destroying it. I When I'm studying it, I have the words down, and then when I go to repeat it later, I totally forget. So it's the Malisoni Falls, breathtaking, breathtaking. The falls are like falling like 200 feet, and it's not uh, like Niagara Falls, where it's just one fall. They have a fall in one place, and then a fall in another place, and a fall in another place, and you just see these beautiful, cliffs, and you see the water coming. And Lesotho, ironically, has a better water system than South Africa, and it's a small, little, tiny country with only like 2.5 million people, and uh, the capital has only like 300,000 people, but their water source is better than Durban next door, and the rest of South Africa, ironically. And they make money from it, but of course, it doesn't get to and serve the people that it needs to serve. So, you know, how it goes. Really and truly, if we see the working conditions or, the people working in what is making so much money, and we're like, oh my God, those poor people. But we're going through the same thing. Like, think about it. All the millions of dollars that the the companies that we work for, if we work for someone, and we make it how much? Like a person, one of the officers, the C whatever, the C officers, their bonus is their yearly or quarterly bonus is more than what we would make if we worked there for 20 years. So it's really no different, but you know, America, like Marion said the other night, what um, the Western media feeds the rest of the world, that, America is just it. But when it's all relative, if you really look at it, people that in America that, work at McDonald's or work at Walmart or work outside directing the flag, and they get paid like $14 an hour. It's no different. It's really, 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 yes. Yeah, in the hospitals, the CNAs, like it always blows me away. My son-in-law is an EMT, and when I got sick, and then there was an accident in front of my home when we lived in Virginia, and this guy, I don't know if he fell asleep at the wheel or whatever, and he ran into this big oak tree right in front of my house, died on the scene in my front yard. And the police came whatsoever, but the firemen came, and I watched it from my window. Um, and I just couldn't. That night, I gave um, first responders, really the firemen, because you think, okay, the firemen puts out fires. No, they're first responders. They usually get there before the EMTs. So my son-in-law is an EMT, and it's just so interesting. The EMTs are the first on the scene. They get paid the least, but they're the ones that they're coming up on the scene, that they got to prepare their minds for what they're going to run in to see. And then they have to immediately put those people together and keep those people alive until they get to the hospital. When they get to the hospital, then the nurses come in and patch him and get everything. When do the people actually see the doctor? When everyone else has put the person together, back together, and then the doctor comes in like the next day or at the end or whatever with a little pad and smile and say, "Yeah, are you feeling okay?" Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Writes a prescription in the room 45 seconds, and he got paid more than that EMT that kept that person alive. So it's all relative. Hey Larry, welcome. So it's all relative. So we could say, oh, those poor folks, and you know, they don't get paid anything, and that it's relative. It's so relative. We don't either. We don't either. Okay. So anyway, so they have beautiful waterfalls. They have beautiful mountains. They have beautiful valleys. They have beautiful clear water streams. And guess what? Of course, they have diamonds. Lesotho. Now we've heard of all these other places, South Africa and everything. South Africa is known for the diamonds. Sierra Leone is known for the diamond. Now South Africa, Sierra Leone is in West Africa, but they got the diamonds. So Africa is a big old diamond. I swear, it's a big old diamond. Okay. Um, Lesotho is noted to be one of the largest producers of the white diamond and some special diamond, and they have this diamond mine that's sitting highly elevated or whatsoever, and they cure the diamonds. Okay, that guess what? They go to auction. Guess where? Or guess not where? They don't auction them in Africa. They auction them in Belgium. Who's in Belgium? Who's making the money? So anyway, that was a little tea. So Lesotho is one of the largest miners of diamonds, and like it's the white diamond. Now we know the diamond of like the clear diamond is actually a white, almost like cloudy, uncured diamond that's worth multi-millions. It's about this big, and I think they said that they will never sell it. It's there, and it will never say it's about that big. It's called a white diamond. It's come out of Lesotho. Out of Lesotho. So what else? Oh, this is another fun fact, and I forgot to mention this when we talked about another country. So when you go, when you see Africans in their different dress, West Africans are really known for that. They have the big, I forgot what they call it. The women wear the big, I forgot what they call the things, right? And all of the beautiful uh, prints and all of that. So I remember a long time ago, as I mentioned, I was in that culture. And I remember when me and my ex got married, he had um, his dad send, well, pick out special fabric and special fabric for him and for his mom and everybody really on their side, and they had their outfits specially made with special fabric. So I'm thinking it's just okay, this good fabric or not. No, in certain cultures, the fabric tells folks what level, class or level that you are. So, and I totally forgot about that. Um, but yes, if you have a certain fabric, they can tell that you are like working class. If you have a certain fabric that you got money, that you are part of the elite, and it's in the print or it's in the fabric. And I remember when, like, and if y'all even remember, because I know everybody watched Coming to America, and I gotta laugh because my wedding was just like Coming to America, but it was like outside. It was the coolest thing ever. Oh my God. You saw all of the beautiful African garbs. I mean, and no one's outfit was the same. And my ex had like this white, his outfit was like this white, I don't want to say dashiki, but it was like a white overlay, and the fabric was like this, like Egyptian cotton. It was beautiful. And then he had like a the little kufi, and it had gold, like gold going through it. It was the same material as the outfit, but it had like gold thread. It was beautiful. And then his mom had the most beautiful whitening. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So, but anyway, so with Lesotho, okay, what is cool? They have their garments. They have blankets. Okay, this is going to be very cool. So they have blankets called Basotho blankets. And what's cool about the Basotho blankets, that also tells people what level of society that you're in, or what like they do it a lot for men. So like they have a design in a Basotho blanket for young men coming into being of age, uh, men that's getting married, uh, a man may give his wife a certain one when after she has their first child. So it's their clothes aren't just like okay garb. The Africans' clothes, they tell a story. That's really mind blowing. It tells a story. It's not just oh that's pretty, that's nice. No, it in the in the design of it, or with the quality of the fabric or whatever, it tells a story. So the cool thing is the Basotho blanket was the inspiration for the costumes in Wakanda Forever. So the director of the costume director copied or got the inspiration from Lesotho blankets. So I got to go watch Wakanda Forever again, and that's what he got his inspiration for the costumes and the outfit with Wakanda Forever. So that was a little a fun fact that I think is really cool. So I got to watch Wakanda. We got to watch Wakanda Forever for again to see that. Let me see what else. What else? So I talked about it is a kingdom. It's its own sovereign country. It's in South Africa, but it's not part of South Africa. Now, you usually hear about kings being so rich. This king, they give him a purse of only 53,000 US a year. That's how much he makes. So I don't know what extra comes in or whatever, but they said he's just really the king is only the head. They have an executive director or executive, something like that. And that person is over like the government, but the king is just there. It's just there as a face. So that's interesting. Any other question? Anybody have any other questions? Let me see. So I talked about the diamonds, big time, like probably the number one place for diamonds and the big diamonds. Michelle, welcome. Um, number one place for diamonds. Okay. So if you ever go to Lesotho. So the other thing is, I was talking about, I would love to go. Now, to go, oh, and yellow fever is not required to go to for you to get to go. So that's one. And to travel there from JFK, it is long. It is long. So that's probably why it doesn't get a lot of visitors like we would think, or is not as um, tourist popular because it's 38 hours. 38 hours to get to one way, 38-hour flight. And it starts about $1,700 for a flight. And then you don't even go into Missouri because they don't have a real airport. The international airport is like in the next town. So you will fly into that town and then drive to Masuru. Um, so they don't. Now, they do have flights with the little Cessnas, and they go into the rural parts of Lesotho, where, to service the people that are in the rural areas. And one place in the rural area that is a destination is called the Comey Caves, and that is a very indigenous, and is still like generations. And this goes back, they said, so long. And there are, fifth, sixth, seven generations. Also in Lesotho, they did find a big dinosaur footprint, and it's visited a lot by archaeologists because they found this footprint in 2000. I want to say 2016, pretty recent, and they've been studying it, and they said that that footprint is about 200 million. I had to write it down. I had to listen like three times. 200 million years ago. 200 million, not 200,000, 200 million years ago. I had to listen to that several times. So they said that if the print, um, bigger than a person, and it was from some, of the whatever, the Tyrannosaurus or something like that. But anyway, like I said, when I send you y'all recap, y'all will see it, and y'all can do a deeper dive. Hotel accommodations, even though it's in the middle of nowhere, they do have nice accommodations. They have a nightlife. The people are very nice. So it's a four-star hotel there, and the best hotel will cost you about 120 a night, 115, 120 a night. And it's a four-star hotel, has everything. They do have a great nightlife. They have great food, and it's not expensive to have a good time there. So if you are really, you know, want to really go out and see true beauty, I do um, I do recommend this. It's just takes a long time to get there. So they do have, as I was saying quickly before we ended, that they do have planes, but in Masuru, where they do have a somewhat of an airstrip. When I hear airstrip, that's why with the Masamara they have airstrips. So yeah, the plane will land, and you're like, okay, well, where's the runway? They don't have runways. It's a little dirt airstrip, and you're on a Cessna with like six people, and you're gonna hit that ground. No, thank you. When I hear airstrip, I'm like, no, I'll take a Land Rover. I'll sit in the car and sleep for 6 hours. An airstrip that you just land in the middle of nowhere, but with the airstrip in Masaray, it's only like 300 feet long. And when it takes off, it has to be with a very skilled um, pilot, because after you take off, it is like a cliff that's like 1,000 feet. And then to get over to like the next area, it's like this big, gigantic, like when you're wherever that place is, Grand Canyon. It's like taking a flight over the Grand Canyon, but it's even deeper. So, yeah, that's kind of scary. And the only plane is like a little Cessna, and it's very dangerous because they can't predict if there's a wind, it's a wrap because you have like nothing to that plane will just flip and then it just goes. It's ugly. So anyway, so I think we covered everything. Does anyone? Oh, the language. Since they were colonized by the British, they speak their language, Lesotho, um, and English. English is taught to the students just like we are taught Spanish and everything about fifth grade. They are taught English fifth grade so they can be globally rounded. But if the kids can't afford to continue to go to school, they only left with speaking Lesotho. So that's kind of what I picked up a key to show to me how educated a person is when I'm in Kenya is if they know English or if they're communicating with me and when they write me, they're it's like you could tell if they have not been educated further and know the English language. So, yep. Anyone have any questions before we end? And I want to thank y'all so much. Please, I am on YouTube. Hey, YouTube people. Hey, you. Oh, hey. I'm sorry. Hey, my YouTube people. Hey, Salika. What up? I'm not seeing in the live chat. I don't think you're seeing. Yes, no. Now I see you because usually I'm talking my Facebook people. I'm talking to the YouTube people. Thank you so much. Are you from Lesotho? Are you from Lesotho, Salika? Thank you so much for coming on. I'm Gloria, 50 Shades of Glow. I love, 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 love. It says, well, happy to see you doing the darn thing. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are on 9 p.m. live every night. We're about on country 28. We started October 1st, and we're going to go through 54 countries. Yeah, we're going to go through 54 countries, and we should be finished about Thanksgiving. If you have any questions, I am um, a certified uh, travel consultant. I used to be with American Express Platinum and Centurion Travel and did global travel. But my story is when I went to my employer and asked them if I could be a representative to give more insight on the continent of Africa. They told me, oh, that's nice, but no one travels to Africa. I said, okay, we doing that. Okay. So I decided to start Glam Lux Travels, and it is Africa only travel because Africa is so vast, it's so beautiful, it has so many resources. And every night we are learning more and more about the continent, not the country. On the map, they make Africa look very small. And to be for real, the United States can fit in the Sahara Desert 3 times. Texas, how big Texas is, can fit in Kenya. And that's just one country. It's 53 more. Three and a half times. So we're having fun with this. I want you to come on every night, and we're doing it at alphabetical order. We started with Angola, and we're going to end Zimbabwe. And we've had different guests on. So yeah, we've had different guests on, and we continue to get guests. So I thank you so much. And I thank y'all so much. We're gonna wrap it up. It turned into an hour. I am so sorry, but I hope y'all enjoyed, learned, and I will send y'all a cool, my cool gifts. And I can't wait to see y'all tomorrow while we go to the next country. And if y'all need any consultation, I am here. Um, DM me, go to glamluxtravels.com, and I can give you a consultation, and we could talk about um, any place that you want to go to in the continent if you are planning a trip in the next year or so. All right. Thank you. Y'all have a great evening. Salika.